a while since I've done one of these, so I thought since it is February and we just had Valentine's Day, I thought what better topic to talk about than love itself. And the question that I was prompted for this is specifically, is love worth it? Is it worth it? I know many of us have experienced heartbreak, whether that be in a relationship, through friendship, through family. And some of you out there may be wondering, is it worth it to even keep loving? Is it worth it to even go out and try to build those relationships? Is it worth it? You may have heard the quote, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. That was from Alfred Lord Tennyson in his poem In Memoriam, and that was for one of his very close friends who had passed away. And I am here so that we can talk about this and kind of talk about, is it worth it? Is it worth it to love? Is it worth it to give it another chance? Because I know I've experienced heartbreak, and you've probably experienced some sort of heartbreak. And so we're here to dive into that. Just give us one moment. Okay, so if you're still here, that means you're definitely interested in talking about love and talking about, is it worth it? And down below, definitely let me know. Let me know if you think love is worth it. You can message now and then reply to yourself later after our discussion and really decide, is love worth it? And so I've come here for the argument that love is worth it. But I also come from a place of knowing the heartbreak and knowing what I said in the beginning, knowing that feeling of, is it even worth it? I've gone through so much pain. I just don't want to deal with that pain anymore. I don't want to deal with the hurt. I don't want to deal with it. And I'm here to tell you that no matter what you do, it's going to happen. Pain's going to happen. Hurt's going to happen. And it's inevitable in a sense. And so even if you avoid relationships, what about a job or a passion you have? And say you lose that job, or you have to move to a different state, so you have to leave the thing that you're working on. And so I'm here, it's just, it doesn't necessarily need to be love in the sense of a relationship with another person. It could be a relationship with yourself. You can grieve parts of yourself that have disappeared through your own pains and experiences. You can grieve for the version of you that you were when you were young. There's a constant possibility for pain and for heartbreak. And so I'm here to say that maybe love is worth it. But what do you gain? What do you gain out of love? Like, why even make a chance at love? And there's a few things that I've learned from relationships and that I've seen from relationships that make it seem like it might be worthy of my time, my energy, and my heart. And the biggest one that I wrote down in my little notebook is you learn more about yourself when you're in a relationship, because in relationship comes lessons. So I learn more about myself, and I learn how I act in relationships. I learn what my triggers are. I learn how to communicate. I get to see how much I love somebody, and I get to find the things that don't work for me, and I get to learn how to communicate that. The only way to be able to learn how to communicate is to be in situations where you're challenged in your communication. And yes, that person may not like what you have to say. They may not be ready for what you have to offer, or they might just not be the right match for you. But you're only going to find that out if you go into that relationship and if you try. You have to try to know. So it's like when you try a new food. If you've never tried it before, you're never going to know if you like it or not. You actually have to try it to be able to say yes or no. So there's a lot of faith that goes into a relationship. And it's also about learning how to protect yourself and your heart, and how to be able to say, no, this isn't working for me, or say, this is great. I love how we're communicating. I love how open we are. I really hope that we can go further with this. And being active in the relationship, it's a lot like the relationship that in faith you want to have. When you have a relationship with a God figure, you want to communicate with them openly. You want to be able to say, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I need for you to help me. You have to learn how to communicate that to the other person you're with. You got to learn how to communicate that with family and friends, because nobody, and I'm saying this to myself too, nobody can read your mind. The only person who knows what's going on up in here is you. So, do you think it's worth it? Because there's some scary people out there. And I've been listening to this show called The Dating Detectives, and they go into this stuff in big detail. The scary stories, the scariest of the scariest, and they talk about it. And after listening to it, you kind of wonder, is it worth it? Because you could risk meeting one of those people. And there's some of those stories that it's almost inevitable that those bad people are going to be bad people. No matter how good you are, no matter how much you do to protect yourself, the bad people will find a way. And because of that, I'm also kind of like, well then, why not? I mean, if it's inevitable, if it's always a possibility, then why can't I just love? Because every time I've loved, it's been a joy. I get to love someone. Personally, I enjoy expressing my love to someone. I enjoy expressing appreciation. And so if I get into a relationship and find out that this person isn't the person that I'm hoping they be, or what I need, or what I want, I have the freedom to leave. And I know that there are situations where you feel like you can't, because I've been in those situations. But even in the situations where you can't, it's about learning those signs and learning how to stick to your gut. And what they call it in the Dating Detectives, it's your femtuition. It's trusting that intuition in your heart that's like, something's not quite right about this person. And you know what? Advocate for yourself. Advocate and talk to the resources if you're ever in a situation, or if you are in a situation where there is domestic violence going on, where there is abuse going on. Cut it off. And if you can't cut it off, get help. And the thing about domestic abuse, domestic violence shelters and the advocates they have there is that they will contact you anonymously. They will do things if you are like, I can't really talk to you. They can't know I am talking to you. They will do whatever they can to protect you. So until you get that safety net, until you get an order of protection, and unless you get a harassment order or you get assault charges put on that person, like, you can talk to them and they can make it secret. And you just have to be very truthful with them and tell them what it's like. Tell them the truth. Now, that's a little scary and that's a little lot. And I know even after that, you're like, okay, Ellie, your topic about this is love worth it. And now you're telling me about how abuse can happen, domestic violence can happen. You mean like I could get really, really hurt and I can't even stop it? Why on earth are you trying to tell me that I should go out and love somebody? And I'm not. I'm not telling you that you need to love anybody. You could just stay at home and do nothing. My thing that I'm trying to say here is that no matter what, love is worth it to love someone. And if you've ever loved somebody and they've used that to harm you or manipulate you, it's not your fault. You did all the right things. And you are so worthy of love. And that person just did not have the capacity to love you. And I want you to know that there is hope again. And that you can love again when you are ready. And even if that's with friendship, even if that's with yourself, that love is worth it. Even if you do get hurt, that you can find love again. I personally went through a domestic situation and I'm still kind of in it. I'm out of it, but in it, in the sense of there's not really any justice for it yet. And so I am just in that realm of like, I don't know if I'm ready for that relationship. I don't know when I'll be ready. But my heart keeps saying and thinking that one day, hopefully I will be. Because I know how great love is. I know how much I can learn from it. I know how much I can grow from it. And I look at the cons and the pros, and I see the pros outweigh my cons. And even though it's scary, even though I'm terrified of going into another relationship after this last one, I want to, because I want to love and I want to believe that this person cannot hold over my future and make me afraid of ever loving again. That person doesn't get to decide what I get to do in the future, because it is my life and I know that I am worthy of love and I want to be happy and I want to grow and I want to have that love one day. And as though I'm not ready because I'm still kind of in the situation and I'm working my way out of it, I just don't want to bring somebody into that. I don't want to bring them into that mess. But I hope one day, after all of it has been cleared, after all of it has been handled and managed, and I've finally found peace in all of that, then maybe I can find love again. So if you're sitting here wondering, okay, so really what is it that I'm talking about? Or what is it that I'm trying to get to you? And I'm trying to come across with the idea that love is worth it. It is. And if you have an argument of why love is not worth it, why you just should not love, definitely drop it down below. I'd love to hear your story and I'm here to listen. And definitely, if you want to, go check out the podcast, The Dating Detectives, and kind of go down that rabbit hole. I definitely did. I binged it when I started listening to it. And it reaffirms that you can never be too safe, and follow your intuition or femtuition and be mindful of how much you share and be mindful of who you are around and watch. Don't just listen to what people are saying, actually watch what they do. And so, yeah, that is all I have for this portion. I know it's really short and sweet, but this is what I wanted to get onto today, and I don't feel like there's anything else for me to say. If there's definitely questions, comments, or anything else you'd want to talk about, just definitely let me know below, and hopefully I will see you guys again soon. Just remember, if you are in a situation that is of abuse, please go to your domestic shelter. Go to your advocates. They will advocate for you and they will protect you, because you do not deserve that. No matter what the person says, no matter how much they'll put on you, no matter if they beg for you every time you try to leave, no matter how much they try to bring you into that web, you do not deserve to be in pain. You do not deserve to be someone who is only loving and caring when you are about to leave. You deserve someone who can communicate with you effectively, who is trying to work through the things they've gone through, and who is loyal and who wants to protect you, not harm you. And so I will definitely leave the link to the domestic hotline below and the domestic abuse page. If you're ever wondering, am I in a domestic situation? It goes through whole questions or all the different things of what it looks like, and just be honest with yourself. You're the person who protects you, and you're the person who's going to save you. Be the hero in the story for yourself, even if it makes you the villain in theirs. Because your life is worth living, and there are so many people who will love you, no matter what they say. You're so worthy of love. You're so worthy of light. And I hope for your release. I hope for any stress, any burdens to be released from you. And I hope that if this message gave you anything, it gave you a bit of hope that you may find love again, and that love is worth it. And sometimes that love has to be for yourself to walk away. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this message. If you did, definitely leave a comment or like the video. You can subscribe if you'd like. No worries if you don't. I'm just doing this for fun. So yeah, have a good day and have a good week and have a good life. And maybe I'll see you next time. Bye.